Hello everyone and welcome back to the Follow Your Path channel. It's Easter Sunday and it's a really great day to die to the old versions of you, to die to all of the things that are not serving you and your true path that is outside of the egoic conditioning that maybe you've been operating in the whole time. This whole channel is about stepping out of that and coming into what I'm going to talk about today. So I'm glad that you're here. Stick around to the end because it's going to be a very powerful video and it's going to give you context. All right, it's important to know the time period that we're living in. It's actually very exciting, right? But all of your, traumas and limitations and all the things would try to pull you down into it and take you out of the gnosis of what's going on right now, right? You could look out there, you could watch the news, you could have so many stories telling you that everything is getting worse, you're getting worse, you're going backwards, the world's chaotic right now, and I'm here to tell you it is the opposite of that. Do not let that out there tell you the story. My invitation is to watch this video today and see how it lands, see how it feels for you. See if you can feel the truth. And as always, discard anything that doesn't resonate with you and take in what you feel is true in your own heart. So today is going to be part 2 of this I Am series, which again, I'm making, because this has been by far the most powerful recognition that I have come into on my journey. And I want to share with people where I got stuck on this, where I got disconnected, and some of the pitfalls that can happen, some of the ways that your ego can come in and try to steer you back in the wrong way. And it's also to help you realize how powerful you are. Truly, okay? When you know this, when you start to embody it and you stop getting emotionally pulled by things going on out there, circumstances, the thing within you, the narrator that's beating you down, the voice of doubt, right? All the left brain stuff, the rationality, the reasoning, the thing that keeps you from being who you know you're meant to be. This is why I am creating these videos. Okay, we're going to start off today with a quote. 1 Corinthians 15:50. Brothers and sisters, flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. As I've said before, don't let any religious stuff in your mind get in the way of how powerful this kind of a quote is and what this is actually saying from an esoteric lens, from an allegorical lens. This is part of I Am, okay? Because when you're not in the I Am, you're in the small self frame, the small self egoic story, okay? For you to enter into the kingdom of heaven, which is in you, the kingdom of God, which is in you, that divine spark that we all have free choice to direct in any way that we choose, which is really our attention, right? The I Am is your attention, because what you place that on is what you're creating all the time, always, 24/7, right? So if you're identified as your body, as your name, as your past, as your preferences, all the things that have happened before this moment right now, you can't enter the kingdom of God. You can't enter the kingdom of heaven. You don't have access to it because you're down in the root chakra, you're down in the small self story. And from that level of awareness, that's the basement consciousness that we talked about in the last video. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch it before this one because they all connect, right? When you're in the basement floor consciousness of little me, it's like you're tuned into one TV station. It's a black and white station where you can't see the way that things are. It's that simple, okay? So if you're not in the I Am, knowing that you are a divine being, that you're on an infinite journey, that you're a soul, right? You can't enter the kingdom of God. You place yourself outside of it, right? And then you're in separation And that's when all the shit happens that you don't want, okay? So that's why this is so powerful. The Bible is riddled with quotes like this. This is everything that Yeshua was saying in regards to I am the way, the truth, and the light. That is the way, that is the truth, that is the light. The I am is God, it's source, it's the energy within you that is divine and eternal. Okay, something else that's really important that I want to try to convey the best way that I can. And I'm going to make lots of other videos about this, and I have already. But I want to remind you of the time period that all of us are living in. It is historic. It is galactic. It's cosmic. We are at a turning point. Every culture on this earth has a name for it. It's been prophesied by all the different cultures. The East, the West, the Indigenous, right? The Indigenous call it the eagle and condor prophecy. The West calls it the second coming of Christ. The East might call it something like the turning of the Yuga cycle, coming out of the Kali Yuga into the Golden Age. There's a reason everybody's saying this, right? And yet we have so much separation in all these religions that think that they know better than the other one, and yet they're all just saying the same thing, right? It's crazy. Only from a place of the ego can we not get together and see all of this as one human family and maybe have a big laugh of how ridiculous we've all been. But again, that's evolution, right? It's like when a child is doing something that you would see as an adult is ridiculous, are you going to be like, hey, you little dummy, like, look at this little stupid child? No, because that's how they evolve. They have to stumble. They have to fall when they're learning to walk. They have to have those periods of learning, just like us as a collective does, right? So we're in the great age right now. We're shifting into, and already are in, the age of Aquarius, but we've got the residue of the Piscean age, of the time before it. So it's like we're switching out the stage, and some of the props and the actors are still, lingering. We got to clear those out. Okay, so why is that important to know that? I'm going to use the second coming as a reference point here, which is tied into this I am. So the second coming of Christ, Christians see that as the physical manifestation of Yeshua coming back into human form to basically do another iteration of what he did when he was first here, right? That's their version of it. That's how they interpret the Bible. But really the time that we're in, the second coming, is that Christ consciousness, that Christ awareness. When you rise up out of the basement floor and you're into the heart, back into the oneness, that is the lens that Yeshua operated from. That is the lens of truth. That's when you're no longer in any form of separation and you're in harmony with all of life instead of fighting against it. Only when you're in the small self story are you fighting against things out there and putting yourself in separation with them. You are one with everything. And that's not some, spiritual quote that's outside of you who might be watching this or sending it to somebody who it might be relevant for. This is all of us, okay? And this consciousness, this second coming, is the awakening of that awareness in all of our hearts. And that is a theme, that is a stage of consciousness we're entering into. Jesus, as I said in the last video, Yeshua, he laid down the temple or the template for this so that we actually could recognize it in our awareness. This is a journey of remembering, folks. We already are and have always been this, and we're just remembering, right? And we need these people on that path of higher consciousness. We need these, ascended masters, these great teachers that are able to plant the seeds within us that are like codes that unlock our genetic template, our angelic selves, our divine selves. So as part of the theme of this new age, this Aquarian age that we've shifted into, I am is going to be a requisite of that age, meaning that you are now aware that your words, I am, are the most powerful thing that you have, that all of us have. And what comes after that is a perfect creation. because you're aligning, you're directing this God source energy within you that can create anything at any time, and you're flowing it unknowingly. It's like we've had access to this superpower and we've been using it without knowing what it is, right? And we've been hurting ourselves by not knowing how to use it. And as part of this graduation process into this next stage of evolution, we're learning how to use it. We're learning what it's like to operate from that higher floor, which is the I am. Instead of having it go all over the place and I am poor and I am sad and I am not good enough and I am this or that, you won't do it anymore because you realize how powerful that is, right? So you just start using the I am responsibly. Yesterday, I was at a fun little backyard barbecue and there was this really beautiful being there, and she's young and she's telling me some stories about her life, and she was just going off. I am this, and this is tough for me, and I have this issue, and I am this way, and I think it's from my mom, and I am all of these things that were creating a negative cycle, right? Because she doesn't know the power that is within her and the way that she's directing it, right? In the same way that a kindergartner doesn't know how to do more complex math or how to, write in more complex, nuanced ways. They're at a lower level of awareness. They have the wisdom within them. It just hasn't been unlocked yet. It hasn't been brought into their now space in a way that is going to help them understand this wisdom and this knowledge. So she's saying all of these things, and it was just so clear to me. And of course, I could see myself in that as well, because that's the way that I operated for a long time, in the small self reference. And one of the addictions that I had was I am not ready, or I am not where I want to be, or I am seeing a bank account that doesn't have the amount of money that feels good to me, misusing it in so many ways. And I know if you're honest with yourself, you're going to see that you've done that too, right? I am working on this. I said this in the last video. Then you have the echo, the creation of I am working on this thing. It's never complete. It's never already here, because that's the truth. Every state of being is within you. Every possible potential and reality is already within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and it's for you, it's for us to realize it. And that is what this great age is all about. We're waking up, ladies and gentlemen, and it's beautiful. But just like in your own individual experience, when you shake the cage and the ego is going to get knocked off its throne, there's chaos, there's disorder, it fights back. Okay? And if you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't see the dynamics that are playing out, it's going to be very intense. It's going to be very tumultuous, and it is inherently, right? Because it's destabilizing, because the things that you are familiar with are no longer familiar. You have to step into the unknown so you can recalibrate and get comfortable wielding the power that you have. This is, to me, I see this as the age where we are all learning how to pull the sword out of the stone, like in the King Arthur myth, right? Instead of only one person being able to do that, which would have been depicted as Jesus, and everyone being like, oh, he's the only one that could have done that. He was saying, no, you can all do this, and I'm just showing you how, to give you an example. Just in the same way that when Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, like 20 other people did it a couple weeks later, right? Because then the mind expanded and it knew it was possible. And that's where we're at. The more people that are embodying this I am consciousness, the more the people around them are going to see that it's possible and that they have access to it also. And it's not just reserved for some special kind of people like the Pope, like a priest, like a politician, like a president, anybody. It doesn't matter. Those are just labels. And all of that power that we've given people that have had certain labels, that's going away, and we're coming into the I am you, you are me. We are all one divine family. The Barney song, I don't know if you guys watch that. A lot of wisdom in it. And when I was a kid, I think I could perceive that, but it was just more of a, a catchy song. Anyways, if you're operating from a place of you aren't already the thing, and you don't already have what you desire, and you don't recognize that all of your desires are within you, waiting for you to align with them and recognize that they're already there, that is the I am. It's kindergarten consciousness to think that you got to go out there and make it happen, and you just got to work and grind and hustle. That was a very deep layer of programming and conditioning that was purposefully embedded into your consciousness. And part of this game is to make your way out of that, to rewrite that, to purge that program from your consciousness and get back to this. This is who you are. And you're learning how to wield this power. It's everything, right? Because you don't have to live any longer a life of lack and limitation and struggle and suffering. You don't need to do that. And that happens by coming into this. You've got to let go of your old story. You've got to forgive any of the mistakes that you've made in your past when you were caught in the distortion, right? Forgive all the versions of yourself that were caught in the illusion and operated from that place, as I did for many, many years, right? You can be a very smart person intellectually listening to this. And until you embody it, until you practice it, until you live your life as the I am love, I am truth, I am a divine being, then things are going to continue to look the same. And you're going to keep approaching things in the way that you were conditioned to approach them, where it's the material world and trying to manipulate the material world from that level of matter instead of spirit, instead of energy, instead of from the consciousness within you. Right? You are abundant now. You are free now. You are confident now, despite whatever story you've been telling yourself for a long time, or maybe the story that your parents told you, or the story that anything outside of you, society or peer groups, whatever, all of those stories have to be sacrificed, put onto the altar, let go of, so you can be in your creative life force energy, right? You walk into a room. I used this example in the last video, so I'll do something different here. When a thought of lack comes into your mind, right? And you're like, oh, I don't have enough money now, but I got to go find a way to make some more. Kindergarten level consciousness, that's old age. That's what we're shifting out of, right? When you recognize the abundance inside of you, that your bank account has millions in it, if that's what you desire, and you can feel it, it's real within you, already right now, it's going to happen. It has to happen. And to the degree that you can start to get very good at this, to the point where you embody it and you know this is who you are, it becomes the new identity. Then out here bends at your will. You will see the synchronicities. You will see the acceleration of your manifestations that you're calling in because you're fully aligned to it. This is where it gets fun and exciting. This is where your mind, when it sees that it's working, it wants to keep going. It wants to go deeper into it. Yeshua was born of the Virgin Mary. You could take that literally. Or you could see that the Virgin Mary symbolizes the infinite womb of creation. It is the I am. That's the Christ consciousness has to be born in the Virgin consciousness, meaning there's no human egoic story in the way. It's in truth. It's a perfect idea. And that's what's coming alive inside of all of us, awakening inside all of us right now. And how will you use it? Will you get up in the morning and repeat the same shit that you do every day? Will you say, oh yeah, that's cool, I heard this thing in the video and yeah, I vibed with it, but whatever, maybe I'll give it a try? Or are you going to decide that you are sacrificing all of the things, all of the stories, all of the past stuff that's happened to you? You're going to lay it all down, all the victimhood, all the bullshit, all the drama, and you're going to start to come into and access the I am that's been waiting for you all along, that you have been all along and just forgot about. Do you think that I would put on a shirt like this and not come on here and give you the best truth that I can offer, the best expression that I can offer, to try to help you get what I'm saying? I actually almost didn't wear this shirt because the ego part of my mind was like, people might not take you seriously, and this is an important message. And then I said, this is what I want to wear. This is my personality. Sometimes it's easy to get serious about this, and it's easy to lose that sense of play that should always be there, because we're in a game. This is all a game. And it's the meaning that you assign to the game. And you can't forget that, because every one of you watching has an inner child in you. And if you forget to play and you neglect that child, life's going to be very dull. It's going to be very blah. It's not going to be fun. That child needs to be playing. You are that child. You need play. You got to stop taking things so seriously and get excited. Stoke that life force, that passion inside of you, because you are living in a golden era that our ancestors dreamed about. And yes, there are a lot of distractions and there's a lot of circus going on out here. Can you filter all of that out? Give yourself the practices that you need, get the support that you need, whatever that is, to anchor in what I'm saying right now. You can either be in the stands as a spectator, watching everything play out, watching the news, listening to other people, or you can realize the time that you're living in, the say that you have. You can get out of the bleachers, onto the arena, onto the court, and be a fucking player. You know that's what you want. And being a player means that I'm going to be an anchor, and I'm going to be someone that lives as an example for the people around me of this truth. I'm going to be authentic. I choose to wield my full power and to use this source-given energy, the kingdom of heaven within you, to create heaven on earth, which is people living in their authentic heart and experiencing their Dharma, living out their Dharma, expressing their Dharma, the reason that they're here on the planet, what they came here to offer and contribute. That is why you're here. Anything less than that, you're settling. And that's a choice. You're taking your I am and you're saying, I am doing just enough. I am just okay with keeping my head above the water. And I know this very well. When you're treading water for a long time, anything beyond that looks good. And it's like, right? And mediocrity can start to look real sexy, real appealing. And then you're just like, oh, I'm just so grateful to just like be able to breathe now, right? And then you don't realize that you got trapped because you had been treading water for so long and you're just finally on land. It's like, all right, get on land and now start to create and now start to contribute and now start to walk as the I am and the power that you are, the love that you are. I was one of those people for a long time that was like, oh my goodness, it just feels amazing to just breathe and not be in that survival. It's like, cool, let yourself have that. Now be the creator. Take your canvas out, look at what your life has demonstrated, Ask how you can be of service, and life is going to start channeling through you, and your highest fulfillment is going to be realized. You already have an idea of what that is. It's just your ego wants to blind you from it, because to step in that direction, it's going to require you to put yourself in a place where you could be judged, you could not be accepted, you could not be loved, right? And all of your protectors from your childhood are going to have to be confronted by this, the I am. I am no longer a victim. I am no longer a prostitute that is willing to sell myself short. I am no longer a wounded child. I am no longer settling for less than what I know I'm worth. I am living the dreams that universe, God's source, put inside of me that light me up and excite me the most. And I am following that and nothing else. That, my friends, is the time period that you are living in. You manifested yourself. You incarnated to be here, to witness and be a part of this play, of this incredible time. If you feel into this, you'll know what I'm saying. Pull yourself out of the sludge. Remember who you are. Recognize the golden era that we're in, and get out of all victimhood. And the more of us that are saying yes to this and boldly walking this path, we're going to change the collective mirrored image of the outer world. I love you all. Thank you for being here. And I will see you on part 3 coming soon. As always, peace within is peace with out.